Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Trahern Crews show. Like to come to you real quick, just talk about a couple things that are happening here in St. Paul and across the nation as far as policing is concerned. So Saturday night at 9:15, Joe Washington was in a dumpster, naked and unarmed. The police told him to come out the dumpster, and when he came out the dumpster, they sicked the dog on him and started to shoot him. BLM, Minnesota, yesterday, we got out in the streets. We had a rally, we had a protest, and we had things like that. But leading up to that rally and leading up to that protest, the officer involved was fired. And the video footage of what happened was released in record time. So, hats off to the mayor of St. Paul. That's a tiny step in the right direction. He did the right thing. So we got to really salute that. There's a lot more to do. There's a lot more that our first Black mayor could do as far as policing reform. But that's the quickest I think that's ever happened here in Minnesota. The officer's been fired. Again, that happened real quickly. So those are some good things. We still would like to see that officer. He should be arrested. That's what the community is saying. And he should be charged. Just like if I shot a naked man in the dumpster who was unarmed, I would be charged. So we believe that the same thing could happen. We're going to just give you some quick insight into what happened real quick. This is a footage from what happened the night of Joe Washington was shot by the St. Paul Police Department.
Joseph, come on out. Climb out of the dumpster. There you go. Go run! Get down! Go! Come here!
So that was the footage of what happened on Saturday night. We seen that happen, and the police. So you heard them tell him, "Get out the dumpster! Get out the dumpster! Get out the dumpster!" He got out the dumpsters. Then they start shooting at him. That led to the officer being fired in record time. And a lot of that comes from the work we've already been doing here in St. Paul and in Minneapolis as far as police accountability is concerned. So because we've been out in the streets, we're active. We're really active here in Minnesota. There's an environment for justice and police accountability because we have groomed that environment over the last 4 or 5 years. So that's how that happened. Now, the other day, I think maybe the same day that this video camera was released and the officer was being fired, former President Barack Obama chimed in and said, using words like defund the police isn't cool. So we're just going to listen to a quick clip of what he had to say, and then we'll chop it up real quick.
As I do, that we should be able to reform the criminal justice system so that it's not biased and treats everybody fairly. I guess you can use a snappy slogan like defund the police, but lost a big audience the minute you say it, which makes it a lot less likely that you're actually going to get the changes you want done. But if you instead say, let's reform the police department so that everybody's being treated fairly, divert young people from getting into crime. And if there's a homeless guy, maybe we send a mental health worker there instead of an armed unit that could end up resulting in a tragedy. Suddenly, a whole bunch of folks who might not otherwise listen to you are listening to you. So the key is deciding, do you want to actually get something done, or do you want to feel good among the people you already agree with?
So President Obama said we activists like myself and others shouldn't use the term defund the police. And then he said actually getting something done. Now, I just compare what our mayor just did here. And no, I'm not saying I'm the mayor of St. Paul is just a great guy and he's super police accountability. I'm just showing you the difference. Our mayor fired the police officer. The body camera video was released in record time, as opposed to what I say with Billy Hughes. I think the mayor could have did a little better job with that. But with this case, a record firing, body camera video released in record time. If you compare that to what happened in Rochester, New York, or even how Mayor Jacob Frey handled the murder of George Floyd, two different things. Now you can compare what Obama did when Bill Gates was going into his house and he was arrested for no reason, and he's a professor. Mr. Obama had a beer summit instead of making sure that officer was fired for treating Mr. Gates how he did. So those are the two different, when it came to Eric Garner. Obama, great guy, but he wasn't able to get anything done about that. When it came to Trayvon Martin, President Obama wasn't able to get anything done on that. So another lawmaker, and so you're seeing there's a new generation of politics starting to happen in the Black community. This is a quick clip from CNN earlier today, and it says Biden faces increasing pressure to diversify his cabinet. It says defund the police does not mean abolish the police. We have been doing policing all wrong for decades. Representative-elect Jamal Bowman reacts to former President Obama cautioning against defund the police slogan. Check him out.
Mr. Bowen, I want to ask you about something that President Obama said this week. He made some news when he warned activists not to use what he calls snappy slogans like defund the police. You tweeted the following in response. You tweeted, "Damn, Mr. President, didn't you say Trayvon could have been my son in 2014? Black Lives Matter was too much. In 2016, Kaepernick was too much. Today, discussing police budgets is too much. The problem is America's comfort with Black death, not discomfort with slogans." And quickly, I want to play for you something else that President Obama said in a different interview this week when asked specifically about defunding the police.
No, because I think the phrase implies that somehow we could do without the police.
We can.
Or that the police are the only source of our problem. But what I would do is rethink how we do policing in a lot of communities.
So what he and others are saying is it's the branding, defund the police. It's bad messaging because it turns people off to the real reforms that you are trying to put forward. What is your response and your take on that? Do you think there's something to that?
Defund the police does not mean abolish the police. It means a dramatic reduction in the number of police in our poor communities, and particularly our poor Black and brown communities. Historically, when our communities have needed jobs, they didn't bring us jobs. They brought us police, and they created a system of mass incarceration. And we live in a country where if you're Black or brown, you're more likely to be killed by police and more likely to be incarcerated and more likely to not afford bail.
So that was that. So when we say, and just to clear it up, we're in a different time right now. We have to say what we mean and mean what we say. We don't have to do respectability politics like Mr. Obama is trying to push on the people. Joe Biden and the Democrats rolled in off the energy of defunding the police, rolled in off the energy of fighting against police terror, got elected to office off the backs of the American descendants of slavery. So now we feel like the Democrat Party should start delivering the goods and resources that the Black community needs, and what the mandate that got him elected. And that mandate is reparations and police accountability. So we'll be going to, on Inauguration Day, we will be at the White House. We will be in Washington, D.C., demanding our check, like the great Martin Luther King, said. So I just want to come talk to you real quick about some of the things that are happening on that front as far as defunding the police, what defunding the police means when we say defunding the police. So right now, the current budget for the city of St. Paul, I believe the police budget is like $106 million. At one point, I know the police budget in St. Paul was like 30-something%. Then our rec center had a small slice. Then, you got public works. So we just want to make sure that we start shrinking the pie, how much money the police department gets, and that we can take care of the libraries, that we can take care of after school programs, that we can take care of other things. The police don't really need tanks. The police don't really need rockets and all these other exotic weapons. So when we say defund the police, we're just saying take some of that $106 million in the police budget and start funding after school programs, start funding our libraries, start funding things for the homeless and different job initiatives. Let's beef up youth employment, things like that. So we don't just have to invest. The police's budget shouldn't be the majority of the budget, is what we're saying when we're saying defund the police. And our rally yesterday was about care over confrontation, meaning that the police shouldn't just come out and shoot people. If there's somebody having a mental health crisis, there should be mental health professionals on the scene to deal with those mental health crises. So thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Trahern Crews Show. Tune in this Sunday. We'll be live on WFNU.org, streaming live there. You can also come to this page, and we're going to have a robust conversation about issues that are important to you. All right? Peace.